Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mad Queen Mileena has finally been put up as a featured fighter. So as promised, I will be unlocking her today and I will test her in a few different areas. I've been saving up a lot of resources to try and get a decent upgrade on her so we can see how she works in a few different areas. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this summoning. Now, as you can see, I've got almost 1200 blue orbs saved up. So my goal for this is to try and get her within that first 400. So that way I do have enough for when the next MK1 character comes into the game so I can complete that team. We do know that Classic Sonya will be the next Chronicle starting later this week. So I will be breaking her down once that event goes live. But she does look like a pretty decent character, so be excited to break that one down. And here she is, already only 200 blue orbs to get her unlocked. I'm not going to be pushing that combo meter any further. I do want to keep those blue orbs up my sleeve for other characters. Now for some upgrades, and I'll show you the build that I'm going to be using for the demonstration of her. And I did have the affinity souls to get her up to 6 stars. I've leveled her up to 110. Once you get up to level 100, it's something like 13 million plus gold to get her up to that 120. I didn't quite have enough gold to get there, so we're going to leave her at 110 for this demonstration. In terms of gear, normally you'd probably run an attack set and a crit chance set. If you can get the crit chance up to 50%, you could probably swap the attack set out for crit damage. Sometimes it really just depends on what gear you have in stock. In this case here, I went with crit damage simply because I had on the weapon a crit chance primary stat, which gives me an extra 25% crit chance. That's going to get me pretty close to that 50% anyway, once you look at some of the other bonuses that she has. Both this particular piece and also the head piece for the extra health are both going to be at level 15. All the other gear pieces are currently at level 12. I've set them at level 12, that way all of the substats are all unlocked on all the gear pieces. In terms of the Relic, what I'm actually going to run on her is the Helmet of Peace. And I know that you're probably thinking that that's an odd choice. There's not really a lot of really good assassin relics in the game just yet. But what this one does, it does have attack as a base set. The accuracy that it gives you, along with some of the other accuracy that I've got on the gear pieces themselves, could help me unlock some of the bonuses that this particular gear piece has. You've also got the extra health bonus, which is definitely going to need, and the crit damage, which again is something that Assassin can really take advantage of. But any foe that has a lower accuracy, and in this case it's probably going to be most of those opponents, they're going to suffer additional damage from her. I won't get any range bonus out of this one, but she may be able to take advantage of the last one on the list there. If she does have the highest accuracy on her team, she will give a crit damage bonus to the other members of the team, which is always going to come in handy. The more damage you're going to dish out, the better you're going to be in any of the game modes. For her abilities, I have maxed her special and her passive. Her auto abilities are at level 6, so they're still going to be pretty good. But the reason I max the other ones is so that I can take advantage of not only the extra damage, but the crit chance bonuses and the passive healing when other team members heal. Now her overall stats aren't too bad. Her attack could be a little bit better, but once I finish upgrading all the gear, that should come up a little bit. Defense is actually not too bad for an assassin. Her health is probably a little bit lower than what I want, but once I complete all the gear, I might be able to get that up a little higher, but it's really her attack that we want anyway. We've just got to try and keep it in the match. Crit chance is at 42%, so with her bonuses, she'll definitely get above 50%, which is what we want for our assassin. The 229% crit damage, again, pretty good. We're going to be able to stack on the damage once she really gets going. But let's get stuck into some game modes. I know you're all probably wondering just how well she is going to go in the game itself. We're going to start out with the arena. Now you have to remember a couple of things. With the arena, it's going to depend on who you're facing as to what combination that you're going to want to use. The thing that I will say with Mad Queen Mileena is use Quan Chi with her. You're going to need that vampirism buff to make sure that she gets that crit chance boost and does all that extra bonus damage. Now with Arena, her build up for her special ability is very slow. So as you're going to see, you're probably going to beat the battle before she even gets to use it. But that doesn't mean that she's not going to cut through your opponent pretty quickly. And as you can see, she is holding her own pretty well in the arena. She may struggle a little bit in defense simply because if her health is low, she could get beaten quite quickly. If you do come up against her, I really encourage you to try and get her as early as possible. But if you do run a full Netherrealm team with Quan Chi, Shadowmancer Noob, and Hellfire Scorpion, she could do pretty well on defense, so don't be too scared there. The next one we're going to take a look at is the Quan Chi boss battle. And with her, I've got obviously Quan Chi as that backup and that vampirism buff giver. I've got Noob in there for a couple of reasons. Being a defender, he's going to be able to soak up a lot of that damage, which when you get all the Oni attacking you, you really do need to survive a lot longer. Plus, as you can see here, you put that shadow out, he can help protect the guys at the back. I'm also running Kenshi for a couple of reasons. If the Oni do get too close, he can kind of double as a melee attacker. He is pretty good close range as well as at a distance. But also, once Quan Chi is isolated without that shield on him, if you have Kenshi's special saved up, as you're going to see in a second, he'll use that and just one-shot Quan Chi, and that way he'll go straight into summoning the next round. It helps you get through the battle so much faster. But just focusing on Mileena and what she is bringing to this particular battle, she is able to cut down the Oni fairly quickly. Noob's not really a big damage dealer, so he's not going to be your main attacker there. You really need to have Mileena in there doing so much damage and getting rid of that Oni as soon as she possibly can. But you do need to have Quan Chi in there to make sure that you're topping up her health, making sure that she doesn't die in the battle, because if she dies, the whole thing is just going to fall apart pretty quickly after that. But so far, she is holding her own pretty well in this battle. A lot of characters that you'll use, especially on the higher tiers of the Quan Chi boss battle, do die pretty quickly if you don't have the right combinations in there or you don't have a suitable healer on board. But I'm just going to speed through this a little bit just so you don't have to sit through the entire battle just to see the end result. And this combination does seem to be working pretty well. I'm very happy with Mileena. She's actually nearly at full health, which is very unusual for some of the assassins in this particular boss tower. And an easy win in the end. Now we're going to go onto the Goro boss tower. Now this is tier 8 of the Goro tower, so it's not going to get any harder than this. I've changed my combination around just a little bit from what I would normally use on this one. So we've really only got Mileena as the main attacker. We've got Quan Chi as the backup, Sindel for that range attack, and also Kenshi for the big hits. And they absolutely carved through those first two waves. Now we're up to the final Goro battle, and the idea is to really try and get Goro isolated. He went exactly where I wanted him to. Use Sindel to push him back just a little bit so his fire attacks aren't going to affect anybody else on the team. And I almost messed up there. What you want to do is wait until Goro does this move, he becomes vulnerable, then use her special move. And look at this. She just destroyed Goro. Now, if you're having trouble getting the 3 stars for Goro, if you can run that team, you're going to be able to farm that in just over 30 seconds per battle. That is unreal. I'm really impressed with her. If you do have the orbs to summon her, I highly encourage you to do so. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Have you summoned her? What have you gotten out of her? Do you think there's something that I could do with my build to improve her at all? I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you do want to support the channel, a super thanks would be very much appreciated. Other than that, guys, like and sub, you know the deal. We got plenty more Onslaught coming your way. Don't miss out, and I'll catch you in the next one.